I'll never forget when when Amber's wedding got over on April 21st. I went, that's not fair. I want a do-over. Everyone in a mulligan, you know, as the day was over, and I just felt like I'd missed the whole day because I don't know. There's so much going on. It's almost, I feel the same thing. I wish I could reverse time and start all over yesterday, but you can't do that, okay? Thank you for everything that's happened here today. It's been an amazing event yesterday and today. And what I want to do is talk really directly to you about what I think is going on here as a company. And I'll keep it short so we can go back and go eat and rest and get back here for a good time. But, you know, for me, when this happened 3 years ago, when I sat down with Dennis Knoke, and there's another gentleman named Don Gardner, who you don't know, an absolute genius of an individual who was in that room with some other people. And they laid this all out. I mean, I just kept saying to myself, if this is real, because of my experience in this industry, I just knew the space of beauty, especially skin, especially anti-aging, was phenomenal. And I also knew in this industry that a lot of companies had come before with stories that didn't hold up. But if you could really come with something that was real, that was significant, okay, that could be a breakthrough, and you could actually get it to an exclusive situation, what you could do. And, you know, when we first started talking, the conversation wasn't about exclusivity. The conversation was about just really competing against who was going to get the chance to market this product. And they had so many different ways to go. And when I left there, I got to know Dennis Knoke a lot over the next few months. He actually told me a few months later that, you know, that day you were in about 8th place because I talked to all these other people. And when we met you, but we were intrigued, and you actually, you know, and it would be nice here, but you impressed us. And coming in, basically when you were coming in, you were in 8th place, okay? You left, you had a chance, okay? And we kept talking, and I just kept educating, and what you do when you guys are out there building relationships. I started building a relationship with him, you know, talking to him, and you know, sometimes talking about everything other than Nerium Orlando, just building a relationship, and getting them to know who I was, and sharing, you know, experience and stuff like that, and trying to educate them about why retail was not a way to go, and why infomercials was not a way to go, and getting them to know people who knew me for, you know, third-party, you know, I was using my third-party tools, okay? And the whole process kept evolving, and it started to get narrow, and as it got narrowed down, I started getting more excited, okay? Because as I told you earlier, I'd moved a huge sales force over to another company about 12 years earlier, and we took a company that was pretty much going in the wrong direction at 60 million. We took it to 500 million, but it was never my, you know, it just wasn't, you know, I was kind of doing that in my sleep, okay? And my dream had always been to find an opportunity to build a perfect direct sales company. And I'd actually had offers from some very significant companies, I won't say their names, to go in and run some big direct sales companies, but none of them turned me on because they just didn't have, in my opinion, the right fundamentals to build a perfect direct sales company, a great company. When I saw this, it just kept on hitting, okay? And so we started talking, and finally got down to the point where it had a chance to happen, and I'll never forget that. And then we really got into the serious conversations. It's kind of like you're dating, but now you're going to decide if you're going to get married. It's a whole different conversation, okay? You know, what are you going to give up for all that? And quite honestly, I said that wrong because I was leading to something. What are you going to gain for all that? I got that, okay? And so I was going somewhere, and those words were setting it up, but they didn't work right, okay? And so, see, Lisa, I messed up too, okay? And so the thing, and so what the point I'm trying to get across is then we got a conversation about, okay, because I kept on saying, only way I'll do this, and I'll never remember holding this line, the only way I'll do this is if there's exclusivity. And to them, those were not words they wanted to hear, okay? And because I was not willing to go and try and build and do everything we can do to build a perfect direct sales company, you know, and then we build a brand awareness, and we build all this success, and all of a sudden the retailers could take it away, or an infomercial could take it away, you know, or other direct sales companies could take it away. Because I've seen that trap before. I've seen the companies build something, and because they built success, their success became their worst enemy. I mean, look at the juice companies. They were successful. You know, Noni was successful. Montevideo was successful. Zango was successful. But their success destroyed them. because eventually they built a category, and there's multiple versions of them because it was easy to knock them off. And there was no barrier of entry for anybody else doing what they're doing. Eventually, there was multitudes of them. They built a multi-billion-dollar space, and the retailers came in and took it away because they could take their product to the market for 1/3 the price they could, and it unraveled. I knew every one of those companies would come back as fast as they went up. And actually, some of those companies asked me to come in and be part of their management and run those companies, and it didn't make sense to me, okay? So sitting talking to them, I'd rather just stay numb than go build something to have it hurt down the road, okay? And so we talked, and eventually we got to the part, and I just said, listen, I will not do it without exclusivity. And that was a really critical time. I don't know if you've ever stood at a line where you just aren't going to budge. You just can't budge because if you budge, it's wrong, okay? And that's how we ended up being partners. They said, well, if you want exclusivity, we want a piece of the action, okay? And that's how it happened. I'm just being rat again, raw, authentic, transparent. If we're gonna do that, then we're gonna be your partner, okay? And so the deal was made, and we decided to do that, and then we spent the next, 4 months putting it together. Very detailed thing, because again, I was kind of very just picky about everything that had to happen. For example, biotechnology companies are looking to get bought out. That's their dream. They want to get bought out by a Merck or something like that. They're building, those kind of things that they do. And so we have to know that someday there's a good chance our partner is going to be a 10, 20, $30 billion company. And so you got to make sure that you have all the exact same rights when that happens. And so we did that, okay? But that's pretty cool. Because someday probably our partner will be one of the biggest names in the entire world. Because those are guys that are sniffing around these guys all the time, okay? And so, so you have to, you always got to begin. I've always said begin with the end in mind. Think through if everything works exactly the way you want it to work, what you need to look like at that time. And so that's why it took so long to put it together. And I tell you, it's been put together perfect. I mean, brought in some of the best lawyers, and quite honestly, they don't want to not make it work perfect because they have ownership. They like the idea of what we're doing here, okay? And I'll just tell you on a sidebar, it was amazing what happened this weekend. They were in the deal. I mean, they were just locked in solid, and everything's there perfectly. But I knew when they got here, the emotions would shift. And it was so interesting to watch the transformation in that back room to when they left today. They're in a whole different place. Because now when Joel Curtis looks at that leave, he doesn't see a medicine that's going to change somebody's health. He sees a leave that gives you a chance to change your financial destiny, gives you a chance to go out and touch other people's lives, gives you a chance to make yourself a better person, touch other people's lives. Totally shifted him. Dr. Newman, it was so interesting because Dr. Newman, the first time met with Dr. Newman, we were trying to get him on video, and that was like pulling all your teeth at one time. I mean, he didn't want to be on video, okay? He's Dr. Newman, and there's these research kind of guys, and and they're very careful. So we had to give him the exact questions we're going to ask him. And then he wrote out the answers word for word. And we had to go back and forth until we had the exact questions, that was it. And then I will come in and I'll do that talk. And so I knew we were going to meet. Dennis Knoke was coming in and everyone's coming in. And I said, can I go meet with him by myself? So I met him for breakfast at a hotel at 7 o'clock in the morning. I told everybody else, don't show up until 10 o'clock. And so I sat there and just do what you guys do. I just started, I'd already been on the phone with him and we'd gone back and forth. But this is my first time really with Dr. Newman. And I started talking to him more about things. I talked about, how this is an opportunity to change people's lives. And I talked about where I came from in TPN and where we're going and everything. And we talked. And it was, like I said earlier, he got more and more, he's very analytical. Explain that to me. Why is that? And I went through the whole thing. Finally, when everybody showed up, it was like, we're sitting there like Mutt and Jeff. We're just getting, I shouldn't have said that, that would make him, like Jeff, Laurel and Har, whatever. We're getting along, okay, really, really well. And we take them to the studios, and it was like the questions never came out. We just said, and he goes, and Dennis Knoke sitting there like this. Oh my, he was like stunned. He walks over and he goes, why didn't I just put him in front of you a long time ago, And But I'm saying that because it's relationships. All this is relationships. You know, if we would have tried to do the deal was in front of you when you walked in, there was nothing there. Okay, there was nothing there. Because they were coming from their point, and you're coming from your point, and there was nothing there. What got us there was relationships, getting to know each other, which is what this business is all about, okay? And so, you know, it's just interesting to see how these people have transformed through that process. You know, Michael Scott, I go on with him. Michael Scott, we wanted to have Don Smothers here. I really have gotten real fond of Don Smothers. He's just like, I don't know, he's the Mac Daddy godfather of skincare. And to sit and talk to him is like talking to history, you know. Maybe the next conference we'll get him here. But, you know, through that, we were able to put this thing together. And it was so neat for me when it all came together to know we had something special here, okay? That we really, really, really got something special. Because this industry, I hate to say this, but quite honestly, I don't like most of this industry. And I'll just be real honest with you. And most people in this industry know that about me. I don't like most of the companies the way they're run. I don't like the way most of the top distributors act. And I don't like to be associated with it. And I've pretty much been a renegade, always on the side. And I've always tried to do it the right way. When people around me were always doing it the quick way, the round the back way, all those different ways versus just the right way. First company I was in was a front-loading company. And all I ever did is if I sold somebody inventory and they didn't like it, I bought the inventory back myself. Okay, the company didn't have to buy it back from them because that's the right thing to do. You never should sell something to somebody and they don't succeed that you expect that to hurt them. Okay, and so I never became part of that. And so as this started coming together, I was going, my gosh, we got a shot. Got a shot to put together the perfect company. Okay, and a perfect company does the right thing always for people. That's what it does, okay? It gives. And so we started putting it together. And for me, kind of being a student, I've always studied this industry. Like you've heard I speak at that symposium every year. And it's been going on 14 years now. And I'm the only person that's ever spoken to that symposium with all the executives in this industry. So I know all the people who run the big companies. And, there's if you really look at the industry of becoming a billion-dollar company, a lot of people talk about that kind of stuff, but what does it really take to become a billion-dollar company and grow and sustain itself? Okay, what does it really take? First of all, if you look at the companies, the 10, 11, it's hard to get some of the right numbers, but the 10-ish number of companies that really have gotten to a billion out of thousands of companies have come. Thousands of people have come. If you just really look at the 10, 11, 12 that have made it, first thing you'll find out is they're all old, okay? They're all old. And it all took them 10, 20, 30 years to do it. And they all built in a different time. They built before social media. They actually built before the internet, most of them. They built when you weren't subject to everybody knowing everything about you and everybody being able to duplicate and replicate you like that. Okay? They built when you could build a culture. Okay? They built when like when Amway's and Avons and Mary Kay's go like that, when you could be out there and build this culture and build a product around the product. But really, quite honestly, the product didn't have to stand the test of time. If the product being knocked off, it didn't matter. Okay? Because they were building a culture. In today's day and age, if you can get knocked off, you will get knocked off, and they'll tell the whole world we just knocked you off. Okay? Like that. Okay? If there's something wrong, the whole world will know immediately. And so what's happened is some company, you think about it, you look in the last 10, 15 years, look at the companies that have tried to make the run to the $1 billion. There's been a few of them, but they haven't made it there. Okay, you look at Monavie. Well, where'd they come out? They came out of Noni. Noni birthed that thing. Noni went to Miranda. Now, here's a company that was based on a juice. It was so easy to replicate. Other people did it, and there became different versions of them, okay? They all started running. Zango started running. There's other companies, but what happened to every one of them? Became multiple versions of them, and they started having to do what? Fabricate stories about why their herb is different than everybody else's herb, quite honestly, okay? And then other people duplicated them, but the truth is they built a space, multi-billion-dollar space, and the retailers took the market away from them, okay? Just took it away from them. You look at a company that I've always loved, was Arbonne. I mean, I love Rita. Rita's my friend. Rita, who was the heart and soul of that company. And I know Bob Henry, their CEO, really well. And here's a company, skincare. And they built, but they really didn't have a product that was unique. They had a product that was good, nothing wrong with that. They were building culture, okay? They had good culture, so they did great things as they moved to 50, 60, 70. Guess what happened? Management messed it up bad. People got in charge of that company who do not know what you do, okay? And made decisions that brought the company backwards, and it didn't sustain itself. Niken came along. Niken and Melaleuca were two companies that were very interesting because those companies were really companies that were trying, I'm going to talk about this later in a little while, but tried to build a company around a legacy. See, a legacy is something that can withstand the test of time. A legacy is what I want to build here, something that you can give to your children, okay? To have a legacy opportunity, you have to have a legacy product line. Melaleuca came along and tried to, draw this concept of a legacy product line through a concept called the tea tree oil. Tea tree oil would be the equal of what we got with the NAE8 extract. That was going to be their legacy ingredient that went through the product line, okay? Do you understand that? So once you bought into tea tree oil, anything to put tea tree oil into it, that would be a legacy product line. The same way as once we have the Nerium NAE8 extract, NATE, okay, in it, everything we come along is a legacy product line. Problem was, they didn't have exclusivity on tea tree oil. There was no barrier of entry on tea tree oil. And eventually you could get tea tree oil in any other direct sales company. Eventually get tea tree oil in all the other retail outlets. And eventually they had to change their whole model and they went up and stopped, okay? Niken, the same thing. Niken came along and we're going to build a legacy along this magnet technology. The patent ran out. Other people showed up with magnet, healing. They had their growth. And then what happened? There's multiple versions of them. It ended up in retailers. And eventually, now none of these companies are bad companies. They're still multi-$100-million companies. That's called a successful company, okay? But they went up and came back down and just kind of plateaued out. So, if you start looking, the history will kind of tell you a lot of things you need to know if you want to build a big company. And there's a couple of things you have to have. And that's why when I was sitting with these people, I was going, oh, my God. How did this show up in my life? How did they put this in front of the one guy who probably thinks about this more than anybody on this earth, And I'm serious. I mean, I sit and I think and I talk, John Addison's a real good friend of mine. He runs a multi-billion-dollar direct sales company called Prime America. And they've done it in insurance, okay? And as a matter of fact, last 2 years, John Addison's invited me to go for a weekend away with all of his top executives, 5, 6 officers. Spend a weekend, we're in Key West, okay? And this year it was going to be in Siesta Key until one of their executives actually passed away just for it. We had to call it off, and it was sad. But I say this is to be able to be the person they asked to come spend time with them, okay? To brainstorm, because what they're looking for is to get some other ideas other than the ideas they have just as a group, like to stimulate. 2 minds creates a third more powerful mind. And, so I've always talked to these people, and my whole thing has been, how do you build the next company? Prime America started with Art Williams, back in the 80s, in a whole different world and time again, okay? So what did you guys do? What do we got to do here? And I've always been looking at it, and it must have been I really always was praying. I just didn't quite understand what was going on. But when it showed up, I knew if this could come together, this was it. This is really, really, really special. This is a company that had a chance to do something that hasn't been seen in this industry. So with that, we started putting the company together. And I'm going to just tell you some of the things. I'm going to be real quick here because you all know them. The things that really make this company. Number one, and I said it earlier, I got these things all back here, bear with me. But number one, we're just in the right space. I mean, there's another company running out there right now. I know the guys real well. They live in the space of diet. I don't care how good you get, you're still in 90-day space. You built the perfect product, you're a 91-day space. If you're a medium product, you're about an 80-day space. You'll never become a 120-day space. It's just, that's the space. We live in an evergreen space. Means it can last forever. People use products and beauty for a year, 5 years, 10 years. You could be a worse product in an evergreen space and be the best product in a diet space, and you'll win over here if you execute the same, that is. Now, they're good marketers. Don't get me wrong, so they're doing good. I mean, I'm cheering for them all the time. They're good, okay? But the space, if you took two people executing at the same intelligence, one in a churn space, one in an evergreen space, this one will win every single time. So we're in the right space. I'd rather be in this space than in a diet space, a service space, a nutritional space. Those are all more difficult spaces. Then the space is called a clue. 9 of the top 10 companies in this industry, the billion-dollar companies, come out of the space of beauty. So we're in the right space. But the thing I opened this conference with, and I'll just say it again, that I am more excited about than anything else, is I was so confident in this thing, but quite honestly, I knew if I'm going to make my last run, and really was going to put everything into it, it wasn't going to be built on perception. And I think all too many companies in this industry are launched on the concept of perception. The perception of the product or the management team or the marketplace. The story is bigger than the reality. And you're always hoping the perception becomes the reality. Well, what we did is we didn't launch on perception. We launched on reality. We launched organically. That was done by design. Now, maybe it didn't look like that because we launched pretty much perfectly. We sat in that cave and we built this company. And we didn't pre-launch. We didn't soft launch. We didn't grand launch. We didn't do all those things a lot of companies do. A lot of companies go out there and they create 2 or 3 months of volume to put in the first day. They do all these neat things to try and create momentum so they can start creating perception, so people start making decisions, so hopefully the perception turns into reality. But eventually what that does, if it's not real, it implodes on itself, eventually. You just can't withstand the growth like that, okay? That's what happens when companies load people with inventory. I mean, I'm up against one right now, my lords, of a company that, almost every person I've talked to in that company has $10,000 plus of inventory in their garage. That's not a good business model, okay? That's not real, and that's not honest. And so, when we had something that's built a lot on perception. And so what we did is we launched organically. Just let it be what it is. What it is what it is, okay? Just rolled it out the door, fed it with some good systems, fed it with some good branding, fed it with some things, and just let it start being what it was. Built around the word real. I don't know if that was, I like to say that was a brilliant marketing on our part, but we were just sitting around and that word real kept coming up. And I remember sitting in the room and we said, let's just use the word real because that's who we are. We're real science. We're real results. Because that we can be a real opportunity. And the word real evolved. And I've been amazed everywhere I travel around the country and see the quality of people we attract. It's the most real group of people I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen this quality of people. And I just think it has something to do with the word real. I think there's a lot of people, the word real is like a force shield. No, I can't be around something real, because, whoa, I've never done that before, So we attract the people who are attracted to real. So we just rolled it out and just let it organically happen, and boom, next thing we know, we're doing things that nobody else has done in this industry in decades. Numbers on top of numbers, and we're just stacking fast, okay? And all of a sudden, we're in direct sales, and Success Magazine. We're 3 months old. Direct Sales News, and we're 5 months old. I can't wait. We're in the process right now, and I'll just leak it out, but we're in the process of putting together with a publication house a magazine for ourselves called Beautiful You, okay? And it's going to be beautiful for you on the inside and the outside, which is where we're going here, right? The outside being how you look, the inside being about who you are. And we're negotiating to put it right on the end caps, like every single Barnes & Noble, every single store you go into, right on the end cap at the drugs at the checkout. And we might have that done by this fall. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you don't get those opportunities unless you do what we've done. There was a media person here today and yesterday that's here for one reason, taking a hard look at us. I've been talking to him for a while. They take a hard look at us to go out there because basically what he's saying, and he's a major media person, has huge impact, saying, Obama's saying this, and Romney's saying this, and we're going to all create jobs, but neither one's going to. You're a company that's creating jobs, and they want to go down the road of, that's cool, okay? It's true, hey, but, and you like that one, huh? Good. Hit a button. Good. Okay. But, you know, and we are, and so we're going to focus on our hot spot. You know, the hot spot, if you want to, in the direct sales industry, you really want to study where the bullseye is. In direct sales, it's in beauty, women, and the home. I mean, you just go beauty. I mean, the rest of the industry's out here. You go beauty, you go right here. Okay. Then you go skin, you go right there. You go anti-aging, you go right there. You go women, you go right there. You go in the home, you're bing, right in the middle of it. Okay. And so that is the space that we can own. I think what Amber put together was brilliant. We want to be the smart and safe. Okay? We don't need to be anything other than the smart zone and the safe zone, because that's the zone. And so they're going to come, this whole thing, sorry guys, but we'll have our pieces in there, but it's going to be mainly about women, touching women, changing each other's lives, and creating economic security. Okay? That's where they're going with this media piece. And they're really thinking it's going to be big. Okay? And so I called him this morning, and I said, so what did you think about yesterday? He goes, oh, my God, all beyond what I thought. And I can't imagine when he's sitting in the audience listening to Carol today, where he's going, oh, my gosh, this is dream come true, okay? And so, I mean, so when you see what's happened there as we launched this company, all these things started to happen for us, okay? And it all just happened because we're organically in the right space. And so, for me, the main things that happened for me is when you look at the things that started coming together, is we have the ingredients that most companies don't have. They're trying to become $1 billion company. We're in the right space, okay? We're in the hot zone like I talked about. We've already proven it organically. We've got exclusive rights to this product in all dermal applications. I hope you understand that, okay? When I say that, that means we're going to build a legacy product line. Where once when Nate touches something in dermal, it just keeps touching dermal things. It's a legacy product line, okay? We have a barrier of entry. I hope if you got from Joel anything, the absolute massive barrier of entry from somebody else doing what we're doing. These are all the things these other companies try to get to $1 billion and have. And so when you have those kind of things, you can start doing some magical things as a company. And that's why from the very beginning, for me and for everybody else, we brainstormed the company is, and I talked about this earlier with Nerium Gives Back, the big challenge in network marketing is most people can't sell. Okay, and most people, if you put them in a position of having to take, it just messes things up. And if we could kind of change that paradigm with the 3-year free, the Nerium Gives Back, the 30-day money-back guarantee, just make the proposition, when you're in front of somebody, make the product proposition as just easy as can be. And if we could make the opportunity proposition as something that was just easy as can be, if we could put you in a position as much as we could possibly where you're a giver, not a taker, we could change the entire energy of this company, which has never been done in direct sales. Every other direct sales company out there is in a take energy zone. Now, I might sound cuckoo, and this is why I fell in love with the Hawaiian people, because they're spiritual, and I'm really kind of wired that way, okay? And I really do believe that. I believe I believe most people they're givers or takers. Some are more takers and some are more givers, but I run from takers and I run towards givers. It's real simple, okay? And I just think when you're in a giving mode, you just put off a different energy. And there's a different cadence. There's just a different body language. There's a different everything that goes on. And when you're in the take mode, it's the reverse. And actually, most direct sales companies put you in a take mode all the time. And it just doesn't work. And that's why there's always this conflict and this uncomfortableness and all the things it creates, okay? But if you create a company that puts into a give mode, where they're really giving, when you think about it, on the opportunity side, on the product side, when we had the 30-day money-back guarantee, when we have the clinicals that prove things, absolutely, the pictures that prove the results, absolutely, okay, the 30-day money-back guarantee, when you have a price point. I mean, I hope that's a big point you guys get. We sat, Dennis Canoke, again, you got to love the man, but he's a CEO of a biotechnology company. That's who he is. And for the life of him, how I was going below $200, I was crazy. But I didn't talk price point until after that contract was signed, okay? And because I knew how these guys think. Okay, once the contract is signed, I get to make that decision, okay? We're going 80, okay? So the thing is it's true. I mean, that is a true story. And so, but that price point is just ridiculous. I challenge you to this day, walk in a department store, walk into a med spa, find a product for, less than, well, you're just not going to find a product that does what yours does, okay? So it doesn't really mind. You're not going to find something that does it, but at a price point like that, with the clinicals like you heard Michael Scott talk about, how we documented that, or the hands-off on that, the pictures that are rolling in, and the 30-day money-back guarantee and the price point. I mean, I don't know what else we can do on the product side. And an opportunity, I keep on saying this, the 3-year free is amazing. Not that, not just the 3, because you bring us 3 customers, it's free. We give you the comp plan for free. Do you realize right now, if I had in this room, and I don't have the time to do it, but if I asked in this room, everybody that's been here for 6 months or more, stand up, how many of you have given me any money in the last 2 or 3 months? It'd be pretty much nobody. Unless you're buying a shirt, you came to the conference, okay? But did you buy any product, really? Hardly none. Think about that. Think about that. Every other direct sales company, they show up at a conference, they're trying to figure out how do we get them to spend more money a month. That's okay, products and this and that and, promotions and, move the car out of the garage and put it in there, whatever, okay? How can we get you to spend more money? We come here trying to figure out how we can get you to spend less money a month. Big difference. It's a massive paradigm shift. I've had people walk up to me all the time and go, Jeff, can you afford to do what you're doing? And we can, but we run a tight ship. Okay? And you think about for somebody, they bring us 3 customers, not only get the product for free, they qualify. They can make $1 million bonus without giving me a penny. They can get a car without giving us a penny. They get an iPad without giving us a penny. They go to Cancun without giving us a penny. Okay? We can ship them, like Lord Knox, we can ship her 54 bottles without giving us a penny. Okay? I mean, that is something that is such a shift in this industry. Something that's never been done and seen in this industry. That changes. We are the legitimacy. What I want so badly is some other companies to start doing it right. Okay? Instead of taking from people, give to people. If you got a good product, you got the right intentions, you can do that. And that's why in this industry, it's got a black eye over there. And that's why I don't relate too much to the industry. But we're different. Okay, thank you. Okay. And so, what'd he say? Whatever. So, I didn't hear it, but okay. But with that said, that's why, we came with that saying, go slow to go fast. And that's why everything we've done, we slowed down and we branded this company first class. We launched day one. I mean, I get emotional when I think about the hard work that team, Dennis and Amber and Trevor and Nancy and Jeff and all the original people, Chelsea and then Mary showed up and I start missing names but in customer service there's Kayla and Greg and Daryl showed up and that was like our little group. Okay, who have I missed? Help me out over there. Connie. I said Connie. Okay, so, huh? Well, no, I know them. That's us. I didn't say Amber and Dennis and Renee. We're obvious. I'm talking about the people back there in that hole that worked hard to launch this company. I mean, we just were sitting there, knocking things off, and the whole thing was, how can we launch better than anybody's ever launched? Really launch a good company, and we did it. And we launched it organically, and that team just kept working and working and working to get to here. If you watch the work they did to get to here, to put this together for our first time, okay, and it had to come off as seamlessly as it has come off so far, and we're pretty much on the downhill side now, okay, to see what they've done and to know how hard they're already working for the future. And they're amazing people that we've put together. But our goal was really to build the right tools, the right branding around it. The training, the thing I'm so excited about this conference is I've always knew that the training was going to kind of come in last. Because you've got to figure out who you are. And the product prospecting came from the field, and a lot of things came from the field. And the reason I probably connected with Mark so well is, because kind of birds of a feather flock together, he's a rhythm guy and I'm a rhythm person. I really believe in systems and, simplicity and rhythm. And if you can do that, and I really believe in synergism. And I really believe in, when you bring people together and two minds creates a third more powerful mind, if you can get everybody just to focus in on a simple system, and he calls it the one drum beat. I don't care if it's 20% off of yours, doesn't matter if we just all focus on one. What it does is huge, okay? But we've been waiting and waiting to see what that was. I feel real comfortable. I mean, honestly, everything you heard today, I had to agree to. And it wasn't just agree to it. It had to really think it through. And like I said earlier, I feel like I know who we are. I know where we're going now to go there now. And I really believe coming out of here, the training in place like we have right now, that is going to do so much for us. Up to this point in time, I'm amazed how much we've grown without really having a regional concept. In the regionals, you understand, when we start really locking in the regionals, the monthly regionals, this company, that's going to move this company up 20, 30, 40%. That one little thing after what we have here, okay? Because as I see this as a company of basically, and again, men, we're in it. I'm going to go to our center. We're in we're in the space of beauty, dermal, anti-aging, women in the home having parties, okay? That's our hot spot right there. That spot there, we own that spot, smart and safe. Everything else happens, okay? And we're at that point now when we do that, and then we come together once a month at a regional, the explosion it can do for us. We're probably having only less than 10 regionals a month around the country. We should be having 100 here real quickly. It's been really interesting. I'll make my observations. It's been real interesting to watch because I wasn't a home party guy coming in. I hadn't lived in that world. I was the quote-unquote networker, hotel meeting, training, that kind of guy, okay, tools. When I came in here, and something in the instinct said, don't go there, but we kind of put it together, because that's where Dennis comes from, too. And it's where a lot of the people I know, that's where Mark comes from, the worst. I mean, that guy is like, meeting, training, regional, meeting, training, regional, march, march, march. I mean, there's no break in that guy. That's what we do, We eat like squares, and that's it, and it's like, and that's how I trained him for a decade, okay? But something changed. And this is what I'm talking about organic and the home parties and the product prospecting. That's the only thing that got a panel this weekend was product prospecting and home parties, right? Because that is who we are. It's been so interesting. I'm sure last night, as you sat in that audience, these people came across, you heard, yeah, of course, they've been in the business for a while. Oh, yeah, they got network marketing experience. There were other ones that came across here who had none. You get that, okay? But listen to one thing. Every networker came across here that went to the NMD is a home partying fanatic. Like you say, Steve Lee, they're party hardies, right? They're party freaks. Every one of them. Not every one of them, Bill Boone, was, right? You're like me. That wasn't us. We didn't want to go there, did we? That was the farthest thing from us. And here's the most interesting thing. You should have seen there's been a lot of network marketers coming to this company. Oh, I'm the baddest that's ever come along, and you just don't know who I am. And they have flamed out, blew up like you wouldn't believe. Doing the old hotel meeting, hotel training. That's what we do. We want everybody to go home, change into a suit, and come to our meeting. Right? Flame outs all over. So for every network marketer you saw get up here last night, there's about 10 who have flamed out because they would not do home parties. Okay? That's who we are. We're a product prospecting home party company. Okay? That's who we are. Is there a place for weekly meetings? Of course there are. There a place for market parties? Of course there are. But not until we're product prospect and home party fanatics in our area, okay? Every one of these people came across the stage last night. Pretty much when I talk to them, they're going to or coming from a home party, okay? That's who they are. And so if you're looking for a clue, there it is. And that's who we are. And so when I talked about when we came to this event, we're going to leave here knowing who we are, knowing where we're going. That's what I'm talking about. So, with that, other things that happened for us, social media, we kind of just rolled into that organically too. But boy, have we become social media cuckoos, okay? This company, I just saw a report last week where we're the fastest growing company in the direct sales industry in social media. And we're we're the second fastest growing company. The other company is a scam that will be taken down by the feds eventually. It really is. It's a scam. It's a scam, and scams grow, because there's a lot of cuckoos in this world. And we're the most active one in here. Okay, social media is taking off. It's exploded for us out there, and so social media is happening. But the thing I hope you guys took away from this weekend also is who we are as a company, because I want you to really get this point across. We've been growing like this from day one, okay? Preferred customers growing like that from day one. And while we're growing, we added the Living Better bonuses. That never happens. Companies only add things to comp plans when they start going down. Anybody who's been around, you know that. They never add to a comp plan when they're growing, because they go, oh, hey, you know what? Because when we add to the comp plan, our bottom line shrinks as a company. Just being rat with you, raw, authentic, transparent. Okay? When we add, our bottom line shrinks. And so we add. I've never seen a company do that. I've been around a long time. Never seen a company. They only add when they go, oh boy, we're in trouble. Let's go and try and motivate people to do more of what got us in trouble. Instead of fixing the problem. Okay? So we put in the Living Better bonus when we didn't have to. We were just going. We were growing. You got to get that. We put in the SD bonuses. We didn't have to put in the SD bonuses. We're growing. We're already in the Success Magazine, Direct Sales News Magazine, breaking all the records. We put it in. Why did we do those things? It was the right thing to do. Okay? We are breaking records. And we show up at this conference and added the biggest add-on of the whole comp plan. What we did today cost a lot of money, okay? Now, people were growing like this. That takes it from the bottom line. Now, why do we do that? Because it's the right thing to do. If you're my partner, and we're each other's partners, okay, I don't want to win at your expense in any way. Okay, so what we do, I mean this. What most companies in this industry do, if they will sit there in that bottom line and the company's growing, they're not putting in because they're going, my God, look at all this good stuff down here. But if you're really building a billion-dollar company, if that's really where you're going, and you really know you got in place everything to get there, you're so willing to take a smaller piece of a bigger pie. And that's why you do the right thing. And that's why most of them don't do the right thing, okay? So this comp plan, what we've done. Yo. Thank you. That's a good one. Thank you. But those words, believe me, I'm glad you did appreciate that. I really do. Okay? Because to me, it just speaks volumes of who we are as people. Okay? And so, technology. I'm thrilled at what we've done with our Nerium Edge. I'm thrilled what we've done. We've got the first cloud. A 10-month-old company doing all these cool things. Okay? But the thing that for me, I was talking to David Bird backstage this morning. And here's a guy who's seen companies and people, and that's what he's done for 30-plus years, analyzing. He's seen the good, bad, and indifferent, okay? And he just said, wow, you guys are special is you get it. He said the fact that you were people first yesterday, before you transition, he said every other company would come out, announcements and money and rah-rah. And you went people, and I go, well, that wasn't even a decision. Because that's who we are. We're people first, okay? And the thing that, for me, that I love about this is it started with the owner. I'm just so thrilled to have Renee and Amber and Dennis involved in this company. I mean, they're all just giving, loving, caring, sharing people. I mean, you couldn't have people who just are just good integrity character people, but our people who work, whether it's Nancy or Jeff or Trevor, or Mary or Chelsea or the whole management team, back there, they're givers. They're hard workers, okay? They're just good people. And so, I think what's happened is because of that, we've started attracting people like yourself, great leadership. But the thing I love is how we've really put an emphasis on personal development from day one. You know, and that's an investment. Dave was saying that to me, because here's what I've noticed in the direct sales industry. I guess I'm being a little cynical and hard on some direct sales companies here today, but that's okay. If they want to debate me, I'll debate them anytime, any place, okay? Here's what I've seen most companies do in this industry. They become personal development after they're successful because it was the right thing to do now. They start giving back once they got money because, oh, it sounds good. We did it day one. We were doing personal development day one, talking about you day one, giving back as quick as we could day one, okay? Because that's the right thing to do. So day one, we were doing that. It wasn't an afterthought. It wasn't something you did to go, wow, now that we're real successful, we've become, very giving kind of people. We launched day one with that. You know, I think about the unfair advantages we had because of that. And I guess that coming from it's really interesting because when we owned the People's Network, that was a direct sales personal development company, the one that produced 937 TV shows and, discovered, all these different people and produced all this neat stuff. And I won't go into a long story about why we had to move on, but we moved that sales force over to this other company. This other company had been around 26 years, okay? And the whole infrastructure was their people. And once we merged the two companies, they were about 87% and we were 13%. They controlled all the infrastructure, all the meetings, all the power positions. They had everything. They'd all had 26 years of experience building this company. In 3 years, the 13% destroyed them, blew them away, came from underneath. They had no power and became way bigger than them because they had one thing they didn't have: personal development. They'd come from a personal development company, and 13% smoked 87%, who all had seniority, experience, and positioning on them, okay? Biggest beta test I've ever seen in my life on the power of personal development, okay? Probably the biggest beta test ever done in the history of personal development was that one thing that went down. And I've never forgot watching that, because that group went from 13 to like 70, 75% of that company, being the people who had 83% that had decades on them and controlled everything, okay? And all they had was one thing: personal development, okay? If you really study the great direct sales companies, they get that. You really study, they get that personal development is not just a byproduct. It's not just something we do. It's something we are. We absolutely own it. We believe in it. We live and die by it. You know, I hate to say this because this is probably the most self-serving thing, and it's not really self-serving thing, but I can't imagine what this company looks like when we're 5 years old and we're hundreds of thousands of people who get the slight edge, who get the power of the slight edge. That one philosophy that one thing can make this company so big, because it's not the hows. The rhythm is the how. It's how you do the hows. It's your philosophy and attitude that make the hows work. And to have a company that's built around, I think, the best philosophy you can ever build in direct sales, that every single person in your organization is built around a philosophy. Forget me, but the concept of the slight edge. Because the slight edge is just something that I was, for some reason, put in a position to observe and learn by owning that personal development company and seeing what works for those people and being put in a position to absorb it, okay, and then come out with it. But it philosophically is perfect for this industry. I can't imagine, as we go global, and we're hundreds of thousands of people around the world, and we can all talk to each other in one language, the slight edge philosophy, what that's going to do. People, that is huge on what it will do for this company. That one thing alone, in my opinion, will guarantee us almost $1 billion company, okay? We have so many competitive advantages compared to other companies out there, unfair advantages. You know, we have the exclusivity, we have the barrier of entry, we have the science, we have the results, we have the management team, we have the marketing, we have the personal development. You know, God, we came here this weekend, we put Ripple out there. I hope you guys really gathered Ripple, because that was, for us, for me, it's everything. I mean, every time, anytime I interact with somebody, Any decision I'm making, meat is going through a filter in my brain, slight edge, good or bad. Simple or judgment, simple discipline. Okay, it's one of those. And they all matter. Same thing with the ripple. Everything I get involved in, any action with somebody, I know it matters. It might not matter much, but it could matter a lot to them. Okay? The power of the ripple is amazing. And so what we have here, we have the most amazing opportunity as a company to do something that's really special because we've been gifted. We've been gifted with this product and this legacy extract. Okay? We've been gifted with this science. We've been gifted with this relationship with those people you heard from yesterday. We've been gifted with this exclusivity. We've been gifted with this massive barrier of entry, okay? We've been gifted with a great management team. We've been gifted with you. We've been gifted with the leadership. We've been gifted with the branding, okay? Because of that, it allows us all to be in a position where we can really give to other people. We can really touch other people's lives, and I mean that. You know, I said when I came here yesterday, we will be a great skincare company. We will be. I mean, that's, in my opinion, it's just execution. I mean, it's just execution. I don't see anything out there that we can't do. I don't see any hurdles that we can't accomplish, okay? I know we'll be a great direct sales company. I know that you will financially be taken care of because that's who we are, okay? We're gonna do the right things for you, okay? I guarantee that. That's just who we are. We're gonna travel the world and we have a lot of fun. But I really always believe that people want to make a difference. When they're looking back in their life, they want to know that I mattered. I mattered. I wasn't just passing through this earth. I just wasn't this person who was born and died. I'm this person that mattered, that touched people's lives. And T, I could see it in you today. That matters to you. Matters to you a lot. Okay? And that's the kind of people we're attracting, that we're touching people's lives. And so, you know, I opened up yesterday. The thing I want to get across is a couple of things. That when we leave here, we want to know that we know who we are. And that's what I think this whole weekend was about. 10 months in this whole company got put together, but we came here, and now I think 2 days after yesterday, I think we pretty much know who we are. We know where we're going, and we know how we're going to get there. I mean, we know our rhythm. We know what we're going to do. We know how we're going to get there. And the thing that I love so much is we're going to do it in a loving, caring, and sharing way. And if we just do that, we really, really, really can make a difference. We really can. We can be something special, something you're proud of, okay? What I want to do is this weekend was real important. You heard Amber, Renee, and Dennis talk about it. I know it's important to all of you. And I can't thank you guys enough because really, at the end of the day, for me, all I see is what we're trying to do is give you what you need to be everything you can be to touch other people, okay? And so this has been a special weekend. And what I want to do is kind of just, you know, I've always believed in reflection, just for a little while, okay? And then go forward. And I'll just tell you this. I was thinking this morning, what's my number one emotion about this weekend? And I thought about it, and there's only one emotion. I mean, there's a lot of emotions, but I go, I'm happy. I'm just happy, you know? And that was it. I kept going, I'm happy. And I'm just happy to be in this moment. I'm just so happy to be in this moment. And there's a lot of things that lead up to that. Because I really believe we're in a very, very special place. As great as I thought this company could be when we launched it 10 months ago, it's greater. And as big as I thought it could be, it's bigger. Okay? And as more as I thought we were going to touch people's lives, it's beyond what I thought we could do. And I can't imagine when we're in Gaylord a year from now how much bigger it's going to be than what we even think it is right now. I'm not talking about the number of people, just what we think it is right now. If we evolved like this in 10 months, from a start at zero, organically, what's going to happen in 12 months with all of this in place? Okay? I mean, it's kind of mind-boggling when you start thinking what is possible. What's possible, realizing this was built on reality. No perception, no hype, reality. When you get that, you start realizing what we have potentially in front of us, okay?